Okay, so the context of this comment is on my last video where I talked about irrational time signatures. And this person asked how you would notate that, and it sparked a little bit of debate in the comments. So I want to talk about it. And I might have to do this in two parts. So the first thing I want to talk about is tuplets, in case people don't know what that is. When you're in a standard time signature, like say 4/4 or common time, rhythms that are multiples of 2 or 4 are going to feel even. So eighth notes are going to feel nice and steady. 16th notes will feel nice and even. Quarter notes are kind of universal. The challenge is when you have a rhythm that steps outside of a multiple of 4, like for example a triplet. So we're going to talk about eighth note triplets. So right now, if I write this, a lot of people will say those are triplets. They are not triplets, those are just eighth notes. They happen to be bracketed together, but those are just eighth notes. The only way you could differentiate that and make that a triplet is adding this little 3. And that creates a tuplet. Okay, so we call these triplets, and that little 3, that's what we use to separate the rhythms, and we call that the tuplet. So once again, a tuplet is any odd set of rhythms that doesn't conform to the standard flow of the time signature. So for example, this, if I just wrote these notes, that would be 5 16th notes, 1 E and a 2, or whatever. But if I put a 5 on top of it, now I created a tuplet. Okay, so now there are 5lets or quintuplets inside of that 4/4 time signature. So in terms of rhythm, you could do almost anything with tuplets. You could have a sextuplet. Ooh, that sounds dirty. They're also called 16 triplets. You could have a septuplet or a 7let. Pretty much any number you could think of technically could be a tuplet. Tuplets can also be even. What if we take a triple meter like 6/8? That's going to be 6 even eighth notes to the measure. But I want to write something like this. So I'm going to write 4 dotted eighth notes. Like that. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Well, another thing that I can do is I could erase the dots over here, and then I could put this inside of a tuplet, like that. And it means the same exact thing. And again, the tuplet being the idea that you're putting a rhythm that's outside the normal flow of the time signature. So this is a triple meter, and I'm writing a duple. So I use a tuplet to force that rhythm in there. So this was part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, and I'll talk about irrational time signatures.